We often think of forgiveness as something we're supposed to do for someone else, right? Like it's an obligation. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? Drawing on the work of Paula Williams, we're going to explore forgiveness not as a chore, but as a journey, a path you can actually choose for your own personal growth. I mean, have you ever felt that? That heavy, just nagging feeling of resentment that follows you around? It can last for days or weeks, heck, even years. It's just exhausting. It really is like carrying a backpack full of rocks that you never ever get to put down. And that's exactly where this whole journey kicks off. Look, this isn't about pretending the hurt didn't happen or that it wasn't a big deal. The main insight here is that the pain is absolutely real, it's valid, and facing it head on is the very first, very courageous step towards something better.
So that brings us to the first major stop on this path. Before we can even begin to think about anyone else, all the work has to start right here, inside ourselves. It's all about processing our own emotions. Or, as you can see, you gotta feel it to heal it.
The key word here is confronting. I mean, how many times have we been told to just get over it or move on? But real healing, the kind that lasts, only begins when we stop running from our feelings and instead we turn around and look them right in the eye. That anger, that sadness, that confusion, you have to face it.
And this right here is absolutely crucial. It's not just about feeling the emotion, it's about giving yourself permission to feel it. This quote from Paula Williams just hits the nail on the head. We're always pressured to be tough and bounce back right away. But allowing yourself to feel hurt without beating yourself up for it is a massive act of self-compassion. Okay, so how do you actually do this? Well, it breaks down into a pretty clear process. First, you've got to name it. What is it you're feeling? Betrayal? Rage? Deep sadness? Give it a name. Second, just accept it. Let it be there for a minute without telling yourself you shouldn't be feeling that way. And third, you start to see how it's affecting you, your mood, your choices, even your other relationships. And why bother with all this tough emotional work? I mean, is it worth it? Just look at the payoff. You're not just sitting around in bad feelings. You're building real self-awareness. You're finding better ways to cope. You're literally creating the space you need to actually heal. And maybe most importantly, you're learning to be a little kinder to yourself through the process. So once you've done that really important internal work, the journey takes this fascinating turn. We start to shift our focus from inward to outward, and we tap into what's described as a kind of superpower in this whole process, empathy. Now, let's be really clear. Empathy is not about excusing what happened or letting someone off the hook. It's about understanding. It's the ability to, just for a moment, step outside of your own hurt, to see the bigger picture, to recognize the humanity in the person who hurt you, even when it's the absolute last thing you want to do. And this is a total game changer. When we're hurt, it's so easy for the other person to become this one-dimensional villain in our story. But empathy allows us to see them as a whole person again, a flawed, complicated human who just maybe was dealing with their own junk. It moves them from being just the source of your pain to being, well, a person again. And this just lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? You've got two paths forward. Resentment keeps you completely stuck in the past. It builds walls and just drains all your energy. But compassion, which is what empathy leads to, does the total opposite. It frees up all that energy, it helps you build bridges, and it puts your focus where it needs to be, on healing. Ultimately, what empathy helps us do is accept a fundamental truth that our pain often makes us forget. People make mistakes. We all do. And just recognizing that shared human flaw doesn't magically make the hurt vanish, but it can soften the sharpest edges. It can begin to dissolve that bitterness. All right, this brings us to the final leg of our journey, the destination. This is where we get to see how all that hard work, feeling the pain, practicing empathy, really pays off. This is all about growing beyond the hurt. I want to be crystal clear on this point. Forgiveness is not a passive act of just forgetting. It's definitely not about saying, oh, it was okay. No, it's an active, powerful choice you make to take your control back. It's you deciding that you will no longer let a past event define your present or your future. It's an act of self-empowerment. So what do you get out of it? What's the reward for all this work? Well, it's profound. Your emotional intelligence skyrockets. You finally get to set down that heavy backpack of rocks we talked about. You understand yourself on a much deeper level. And all of that leads to healthier relationships and just a stronger, more solid sense of who you are.
And these words from Paula Williams just capture the whole promise of this journey so perfectly. You're not just getting away from pain, you are actively opening a door to a brighter, more fulfilling future, one that isn't constantly being held back by the shadows of the past.
And so, that leaves us with one final thought, a question, really, for you to reflect on. The past, it's done. But the journey from this moment forward, that's all yours to decide. By embracing your feelings, trying to find empathy, and choosing to grow, you're the one shaping your own path. So, what future are you choosing for yourself?